When you are a wave on the sea, you love the wind, the gale and the breeze. You rock the boats and the seabirds afloat that you roll beneath. You mirror the sky, catch the sunlight. You take a moonbeam and make it look like a glittering diamond, a quivering flame when you are away. When you are away, a wave on the sea. When you are away, a wave on the sea. You fall and you rise, you crest and you curve, you drift and you glide on through the world, through the shallow and deep, the bitter and sweet passing of time. On through the world, or is it more true that the whole world is moving through you, because the water you're made of is never the same when you are away. When you are away, a wave on the sea. When you are away, a wave on the sea. Because with a wave, that's how it goes. You may not remember or not even know. You're not just a wave, you are the whole ocean wide. You're not just a wave, you are the whole ocean wide.
This is the day we have been given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. If this is your first time at Unity Church, or your first time, say, leading worship at Unity Church, you are welcome here. If you have been here for decades, you are welcome here. If you are joining us online, we are so glad you are with us. If you have come here seeking to be spiritually nourished, you are welcome here. If you have come here not quite knowing what it is that brought you here, you are welcome. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Dr. Oscar Sinclair. My pronouns are he, him. Since August 1st, I have been the senior minister here at Unity Church. It is good to be together. I want to extend a special welcome for those of you who are visiting us today. If you are new to Unity Church, please fill out one of the visitor cards that are available in the pew in front of you and drop it off later in the offering baskets as it comes past you. We hope you find Unity Church to be a place that helps you keep and find your balance, and a community that inspires you to lead a life of integrity, service, and joy. Your gifts and your wounds are welcome here. So as we enter into this time of worship together, this new congregational year together, let us take a moment to center ourselves with the pealing of our bell.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm so grateful. I'm Peter Mayer, and I'm so grateful to be here with the celebration of the beginning of the autumn, and Reverend Oscar. It's just an honor and a privilege to be here today with you all. There's a song that I'd like to invite you to sing the chorus on, or the whole thing if you know it. But the chorus goes like this, and it is in your program if you want to read along. It's totally up to you. It's an easy chorus, so you don't feel bound to your program, but it goes like this. Let everybody in, everybody in, everybody into the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle. Okay, that'll come around a lot, so let's sing it together. Jesus spoke, entreating them to live together in a great circle of love. And when his followers asked him then who should be included, Jesus said, let everybody, everybody in, everybody in the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody into the circle, circle. Oligarchs and tyrants try to keep some in and everyone else outside, till revolution sweeps across the land and the people all stand. The common folk cry, let everybody, everybody in, everybody in the circle, circle. Everybody, 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 everybody in the circle, circle. is a class or creed. Sometimes a circle is made of only men, until Susan B. Anthony says, what about me? Let me in, let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody to the circle. Sometimes a circle is a privileged thing, excluding people for the color of their skin, till the voice of Martin Luther King says, let freedom ring, let them in, let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody to the circle. Gay and straight, rich and poor, whole and broken, open up that door. The more we are, the greater we become. After all, we all are one. Bring in the people, but don't stop there. Bring in the fish in the sea, the birds in the air. Bring in the rivers wide and the mountains tall. We go together, or not at all. Let everybody in, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle, everybody into the circle.
We come together this morning from all directions, gathering like drops of rain, of tears, of sweat, drops of our hopes, our seeking. From the deep wells of our being, we come together to merge the nourishing source waters of our lives as we renew our calling to this community. Our drops mingling to become a stream, flowing and flowing into another year of growth and depth, of care and connection, of purpose, and of bringing more love to the world. Come, let us worship together.
We light this chalice as a symbol of our faith, the light of truth, and the warmth of love.
I have been waiting so for the return, especially of our children and families, for this Merging of the Waters Family Sunday. Children, I see you, as we know how to do. Please come down the center aisle. Parents are welcome too, and join me up front for the story for all ages. Come on up close, yeah. Come on down the center aisle. Come up close. Squeeze in a little bit closer so that anyone who needs a space in the back can have it. Good morning. I know you guys have started school already, most of you, I believe. And as we are about to start Church Sunday School this coming Sunday, I love this Sunday that begins the church year with Merging of the Waters. Come on up a little bit closer. Okay. In a very special spot, in a freshwater stream bed among the rocks and the gravel, a tiny little salmon was born. And right from the beginning, this tiny little salmon knew that that spot was very, very special. The temperature seemed almost just right. And the way that the sunlight filtered through into the underwater environment that allowed the fish to see, oh, the little rocks are over there, and the big rocks are over there. And the way that the vegetation in the water had a smell that was very particular to that place. The tiny little salmon swam, ate, started to grow, bigger and bigger. And as it grew, it knew more and more things about that place. How the currents of the water were faster near the trees and seemed to go slower near the banks. How the otter and the dragonflies were bound to that place. How the grayling, how the insects drew life from the waters. And when it paused and was quiet and still enough, the salmon could almost feel that place holding it, connecting with it. That the life of that place was bound to the life of that little salmon herself. One day, as she had been growing and as her body told her that she was now allowed to swim from fresh water to salt water, she knew that she had to leave. She could feel the push of the river. She could feel that the waters were connecting with other bigger, larger bodies of water. And so she started to do double twists and flips. And she started to swim. And she flowed and swam until one day she found herself in the feeding grounds of the vast ocean. In fact, I think I see the salmon swimming in the ocean back there. Can you see the salmon making her way, swimming around? Swimming in the vastness of the ocean. But one day, as the salmon was swimming, the salmon knew that it was time to come back home, to swim up the stream and to spawn and lay eggs so that the cycle of life would continue. But the salmon wondered, how do I find my way back? And it was then, as we look at the salmon remembered about the right temperature. The salmon remembered about how the sunlight filtered just enough so that she could find her way. The salmon remembered the smell of that particular place from which she was born. And so the salmon started to swim, but this time against the current, ran into rapid waters, ran into hungry bears, and then one day found herself before a waterfall. Oh no, can I make it over the waterfall? And so, gaining some strength, and just at the right time, the salmon leapt into the air and made it over the waterfall and started to swim. And found that out of 1,000 different rivers and streams, she knew exactly where she was born and where home was. And there, the cycle of life would continue. I'm thinking about salmon, about how they remember the exact place. Maybe I wonder about us. Maybe it's like how the sunlight comes into this church building. Maybe it has something to do with the smell of donuts and coffee and Wellspring Wednesday suppers. Or maybe once we are here again and again and again, maybe the songs become part of us. Maybe the prayers and the stories. Maybe the people, especially the people, become part of us. And if we can quiet and still our hearts, maybe we can feel ourselves held. Maybe we can feel a connection that is so sacred. Maybe we can even touch a source of life that binds us to all life. Maybe here at Unity Church, we can touch that life and we can practice our twists and crazy flips and practice living our lives of integrity and service and joy. I think our salmon is trying to swim back out. Maybe we can follow the salmon back to our seats with families. May it be so. Amen.
Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of this congregation. And together, we recognize the cycle of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. I invite you to take a moment now to settle yourself. Take a breath, squeeze your shoulders, close your eyes if that's comfortable and accessible for you, as we enter into our time together of meditation, reflection, and prayer. As we share with one another the milestones of our joys and our sorrows, the celebrations and concerns that mark our lives from their beginning to their endings, we open our hearts to both giving and receiving care, as is essential to deepening our spiritual lives and essential to being in community. And in doing so, we hold and are held by each other. Today, within our community, we hold in our caring embrace Nicole Vesperman, who is the victim of a violent attack at her workplace last week. She's resting at home and beginning the complex process of recovering from a severe physical injury and emotional trauma, and she is very grateful for this community of care and for your cards of caring support. And our healing prayers are also with Jeannie Spears this morning. She's been hospitalized in Duluth for the past week and is receiving autoimmune treatments to stabilize her hemoglobin, her blood values. And she would welcome hearing from you in your cards as well. And we also lift into our caring and healing embrace Dorothea Gumbrill, who underwent surgery on her hip yesterday at Regents Hospital to try to relieve some of her pain. And when she's strong enough to return to her Lexington Landing home, where she resides in memory and also now hospice care, she would be very happy to receive visitors and cards, especially in her native German language, if that's possible for you. Betsy Turner can help to arrange visits. It is a truth of our human condition that on any given Sunday, among us there are grieving and aching hearts, those mourning a loved one, whether it be a person or a pet, or someone who, due to illness, is no longer present in the way that they once were, to share in life's joys with you. Among us are people who have new or recurring diagnosis and are facing uncertainties about their futures, or maybe just adjusting to the new reality of physical limitations. And among us, too, are those who struggle with mental health conditions and those who love them fiercely and unconditionally and will journey alongside. And among us, too, are those who are celebrating new lives and new loves, new opportunities, new school days, new jobs, and those whose daily spiritual practice of raising children includes now adjusting to a new back-to-school rhythm this week, which you may be out of practice. Delighting in the challenges and gifts that a new year brings. Our hearts, our communal hearts, expand to hold all of these truths and so many more as we bear witness to and care for one another. And so I invite you now to speak into this holy sanctuary or into the silence of your own hearts or your own space in virtual, the names of those that you wish to lift up into our collective embrace. Will you join me in prayer? Holy One, Spirit of life and love, gracious God of many names, we gather humbly together in witness to one another's lives, seeking solace, guidance, the strength to navigate challenges that surround us, knowing that we sometimes fall short of our best intentions and best selves. And so we also seek paths to reconciliation, healing, and forgiveness. And we gather too in joyous celebration today, grateful for the lives that we have and share, and for the opportunity to join in song and in ritual, connecting us to deeper truth and meaning and belonging. We lift our humble prayers in gratitude for being here together, embracing the beauty and promise of life before us as we weave our own thoughts and intentions into a moment of shared silence. Amen.
Peace, peace, peace to the mind, peace to the heart. Peace, 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 peace to the lives broken apart. Peace to the torn, the bleary-eyed, battle-worn soldier who's so forlorn. Peace to the fist, peace to the gun. Peace, 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 peace to the judge in everyone. Peace like the sound of rain finally falling down onto the hard, dry ground. We need you now. We need you now. Peace to the streets, peace to our hands and feet, to our anxious heartbeat. Help us to breathe, sweet bird of peace. Spread your wings over this world and sing love and understanding. Sing to the west, sing to the east. Peace, 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 peace be to all, and peace be to each, and peace in between, peace to the place where our lives meet.
Framed by statements of conscience, known as its end statements. One of those is, generously give and openly receive compassionate care in times of joy, sorrow, and transition. Our compassionate care extends beyond the walls of this church to communities with whom we share a common interest. Each week, the larger portion of our offering goes to these community partners. Friends of the Mississippi River, FMR, today's offering recipient engages people to protect, restore, and enhance the Mississippi River and its watershed in the Twin Cities region. FMR knows that young people are the future stewards and advocates of the river, and this collection will support youth development programming and the development of functional pathways into environmental professions for young people, particularly BIPOC youth. Will the ushers now please come forward? May the work of our hands and the generosity of our hearts be given in gratitude this day. Let the offering now be taken.
When I was a boy, each week, on Sunday we would go to church and pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. And when I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. And now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, barely wet my fingertips, but now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. Used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face, say it's not a testament, that'd be very hard to say. See another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament, I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood, saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
How good it is to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound with clashing, with noisy silences, while something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and the resting lull. With full intensity we seek, ere thicket passes, a fresh sense of odor in our living, a direction, a strong purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning to our chaos. We look at ourselves in this waiting moment, the kinds of people we are. The questions persist. What are we doing with our lives? What are the motives that order our days? What is the end of our doings? Where are we trying to go? Where do we put the emphasis, and where are our values focused? For what end do we make sacrifices? Where is my treasure, and what do I love most in life? What do I hate most in life, and to what am I true? Over and over, the questions beat upon the waiting moment. As we listen, floating up through all of the jangling echoes of our turbulence, there is a sound of another kind, a deeper note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered. Our spirits refreshed, and we move back into the traffic of our daily round with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down.
Sometime in the first half of the 20th century, Howard Thurman sat down to write. To center down is a gift, he says. A chance to ask ourselves the questions that exist in all of our lives, and then to pause, to quiet our souls, and to listen for a deeper note which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. Howard Thurman was, in a very real way, one of the theological parents of the American civil rights movement. But just as important as understanding Thurman as Martin Luther King's teacher is understanding Thurman as a mystic, a writer and a poet drawn to a lived sense of the divine, God in his understanding, present in that moment of centering down. Present in the moments we gather together, as Ken Patton writes, out of many singular rooms, drawn together at the start of a new thing. God present in a red-winged blackbird on a cold September morning. God, the other side of a lifelong conversation that feels like monologue and dialogue in equal measure. There's something of the mystical in this ritual we're doing this morning. Merging the waters. We call it at Unity ingathering, water communion. It goes by many, many different names. But most Unitarian Universalist congregations share this common ritual at the end of summer and the beginning of a congregational year. Members bring water from wherever they have been, sometimes travels, sometimes their lives, and then join it in a central vessel. In doing this, we recognize that we are all bound together. Once joined, there is no separating the water. What I bring to this ceremony is inseparable from what you have brought. The whole is affected by each. When one person brings a vial full of tears, the whole is a little bit salty. When one person brings water from their garden, you can sometimes catch a sniff of the good earth in the chancel. And then, this is the important part, the water doesn't just sit there. It's used throughout the year to bless new babies, to bring comfort in last days, to serve the community and people in it. And in doing so, for the whole year, the community is present in each of those moments. Here's a part that I wish we talked about more, though. This ritual is celebrated across Unitarian Universalism, but it did not spring to life fully formed from the brow of Unitar. It was instead a very specific creation from a very specific group of people at a specific event. Carolyn McDade, beloved for her many hymns in our hymnal, Jean Zorhide from Baltimore, Maryland, Lucille Schuck Longview, Linda Pinty gathering water from the Grand River, just a few miles from where the 1980 Women and Religion Continental Convocation was held in East Lansing, Michigan. The participants in that first convocation could not have been more theologically different than Howard Thurman. It's a struggle to find a passage of Thurman that does not reflect the gendered language of God common to his generation. Meanwhile, the creators of the water ceremony described their hopes this way. The universality of water emerged as we worked on what became the service now known as coming home like rivers to the sea. As we worked to shape the service, our awareness increased of water's presence and deep meaning in all our lives. The water ceremony became the central part of a religious service that broke with tradition in significant ways. It was created by lay women, women who had long been silent in the pews. The ritual space was made sacred by the women themselves. We gathered to worship in a way authentic and liberating to us, not as in a church, but in a semicircle around a common earthen bowl. It was a ritual of women's being connected by a universal symbol, water. A ritual of women being connected to the totality of life. This particular way of experiencing divinity and connection in community around a common bowl is what we share this morning. The centrality of water has gone from that single service at a conference 44 years ago to the thing most Unitarian Universalists hold in common. It is sacred to us. So Stacy Ailish and I moved to St. Paul 6 weeks ago, and I've known since then that the first time preaching in front of this congregation in a new role was going to be today, talking about merging the waters. And a funny thing happened in the move that I didn't expect. We ended up in an apartment building in downtown St. Paul with a balcony overlooking the Mississippi River. I've lived on 3 continents and 7 states, but somehow the experience that I have never had until 6 weeks ago was living near a river. I think of waters as the ocean, vast and unknowable, or the lakes and ponds of my childhood, peaceful, warm with memory. But this inexorable push of a river, the water that just keeps moving, that's new. Water that isn't peaceful, but that moves with purpose, drawn to a place it cannot imagine or calculate. Drawn, as the writers of this service put it, like rivers to the sea. Now, I've been meditating on rivers for obvious reasons. Ministers go where they are called. And for me, the call to come here felt in its own way as sure and steady as the river that I watch every morning. Now, that's not the same thing as saying it was particularly clear or easy. The whole process felt about as clear as the Mississippi River. But I think I'm not alone in this. One of the things that we'll take up in the coming month, as we start to unpack welcome and belonging as our monthly theme, is that church attendance has shifted in the last 50 years. Certainly when Howard Thurman was writing in the 1930s, he assumed that most of the people reading what he wrote were regular churchgoers. Carolyn McDade and her sisters wrote the Water Communion because male-dominated religious spaces felt normative, felt like what was always the case. But now, we can just say this honestly, there's a lot of other things you could be doing on Sunday morning. And yet you're here. Here we are. It's one of the fascinations of my life that in the midst of declining church attendance across the country, there are vibrant Unitarian Universalist congregations that have leaned into the countercultural parts about being church, cultivating moments of quiet that Thurman would have recognized, while redefining worship and who we are. So my question always to these congregations as I meet them is, why? Why do you come here? What is it that draws you to this place like a river to the sea? Now, the last time I did this exercise, it was with a congregation I was working with in southern England, and I managed to ask this question specifically, one-on-one, to every single member of that congregation over 5 months. Admittedly, this may be more challenging in St. Paul, because what was possible for 15 members is somewhat harder with 800. But the question remains, obviously, or maybe not obviously, there is something that draws you to this place. There are so many other places you could be on Sunday morning, so many different things to do, but here you are. What is it that draws you here? What is the sense of place, like the salmon in the river, that makes you feel at home? How does it live and breathe in your life? How do you experience it the other 6 days? What kinds of practices bring you nearer to that? When I asked this question in England, the answers that I got started with community. Actually, the answers that I got started with blank stares. And then got into community, right? I'm drawn to the place where my friends are, where my parents are buried, where my kids feel safe. I'm pretty sure my daughter would answer, because mom and dad tell me that I have to go. But then the answers get a little bit more poetic. I come back for the singing. I come to feed my soul. I come to be around something that will outlast me. And then there was this one answer. There was one member of the congregation, a no-nonsense gardener and editor of the local community newsletter, who informed me 2 weeks after I'd been there that I had been failing my ministerial duties because I did not offer everybody that came into my office tea, who had strong opinions on everything from what kind of tea I should be offering to what temperature the apartment's thermostat should be set at. But when I asked her this question, when I asked her, what brings you to church? I imagined hearing something practical and straightforward. But she paused for a minute, and sort of looked at the wall, and then said, whenever I can, which is not often enough, I come to church early, before anyone else is here. I bring flowers for the altar, and then I just sit in silence in the sanctuary. And I just let the peace of this place hold me for a little bit. And then I get up and go about my day. This is also how I encounter the draw of worship together. It's a pull towards centering down, a kind of intimacy with the quiet, and then gathering. So whatever gathers you in, this is the time where we gather waters from our lives into a common vessel, affirming our connections even as we come with individuals, with stories and contexts that lead us to this point. Different answers to that same question. Why are you here? But here we are, together. Our theme for this month is welcome and belonging. It's a good theme for the start of a church year. Obviously, it's personally relevant for me. How we do the work of welcome together is important for churches. We'll pick that thread up next week. But even as we do that work, we do it knowing that we are drawn together at the start of things, like rivers to the sea. So may our year together be a blessed one. It's going to have moments of quiet, but also moments of celebration, of sorrow, of joy, disappointment, laughter, hope, all the things that make up this church thing that we do together. So my ask for you, in the midst of all that for this first year, is straightforward. Start with what brings you here. What is the ocean calling you home, like rivers to the sea? And from there, we can begin. Every congregation in the UUA now does this next part a little bit differently. I have not done it yet the way Unity does it. So when I get this wrong, we're just going to laugh about it and keep going. All right. So, in your order of service, there is a responsive reading. If you would please rise in body or in spirit. I will read the Roman font, and then Charlie will read the italics. And you will read the italics with him.
Yeah, I need help.
We arrive out of many singular rooms, walking over the branching streets.
We come to be assured that our siblings surround us to restore their images upon our eyes.
We enlarge our voices in common singing and speaking.
We try again that solitude found in the midst of those who, with us, seek their hidden reckonings.
Our eyes reclaim the remembered faces. Their voices stir the surrounding air.
The warmth of their hands assures us, and the gladness of our spoken names. This is the reason of cities, of homes, of assemblies in the houses of fellowship. It is good to be with one another.
Here, gathered at the well, to bless and be blessed by beauty, we who long to live lives of integrity, service, and joy now pledge again to organize our longing in the interest of a larger love.
The pitcher cries for water to carry, and a person for work that is real.
And so, as we do at the start of a year together, we bring together water from our many singular rooms, first spilling it on the table. We start with water from this gathering last year, all that the community carries forward into this year together. And if I can take a moment of personal privilege, I'm going to add just a few drops of water from this service that I led last year in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then here in St. Paul, as I understand it, we call out water from the different directions. As the direction your water comes from is poured, I believe you shout out a word or two about where it comes from, or what meaning it holds for you. So, who brings water from the north? Who brings water from the south? Water from the east. And water from the west. Please be seated. So we have joined our waters together. It is a symbol of the congregational year starting. Here is the other symbol of a congregational year, announcements. But these are exciting announcements because this is the first announcements of a new congregational year. So, if you are new to this community, welcome. Every week we hold an informational session for visitors, newcomers, people who are interested, called Finding Yourselves at Unity. That starts at 10:15 in the Gannett room on the second level. If you are trying to find that, please ask somebody other than me. I mostly know where it is, but I will probably get you lost. Also, the church is a place where we are intentional about creating intergenerational spaces, places where friendships can be created across generations. And one of the ways that we do that is that we gather every Wednesday night here at the church for a program called Wellspring Wednesday. It starts with a shared meal right here in the parish hall at 5:45, followed by a short chapel service upstairs at 6:15, and then programming afterwards starting at 7:10. That's starting this Wednesday. I am so excited to be a part of that. But you can read more about what programming is available in your order of service. Last, this announcement is actually from the board. Later today, you'll receive an email with a link to a survey of the congregation. Yes, we are talking about surveys in a worship service. Unity sends out a congregational survey once a year around this time, but we want to invite your participation in particular for this year, for this reason. Every 4 or 5 years, Unity renews its end statements. These are the statements that guide the direction of the church for half a decade. This is that year. So your participation in the survey this year will begin to inform the process that will tell all of us what direction we want to take this shared ministry in the next 5 years. That's a really big and exciting moment for a church. So the really practical piece of that is when you get home, click on the survey, take 15 minutes, and share how you're feeling about where Unity is now, because that will be the first step of that larger process. It is good to be together. It is good to start this year together. It's good to sing together. And so at this point, would you please rise in body or in spirit again, and we will sing our closing hymn.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can stay. I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I fly the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home.
So I'm hoping one of the choir members can turn off to blow out the chalice behind me. As we go forth from this place, go in peace, go in kindness, and go in joy. Blessed be, and amen.
So we have one more song for you, and this song is kind of a weird song because it's sung from the point of view, if you will, of the water molecules, and the chorus is in your programs. The words are all in the programs, but particularly the chorus. It's a mouthful to sing, but we'll sing it several times, and please feel free to join in at any time if you feel inspired. I'll just sing it through really quick. It goes like this. We are water rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and under ground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. Let's try it together. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, rising in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are molecules, 2 H's and 1 O. And in most places we are ice and we are cold. But sometimes in the universe, when we find a place like Earth, where the sun is shining and the lovely breezes blow, we are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together. We are mist and we are waves upon the sand. We're the ancient holy place where life began. We are tea and morning showers, home to seahorses and flounders, cleaning shirts, quenching thirst and floating motorboats. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are mirrors to the sky, we shine of all the stars at night, sun and moon and clouds as they go by. If you find the time, then here's what you should do. Take your heart down to the shore and be renewed. Climb into your sloop and ride us, leap into us, stand beside us. We will turn your planet world the brightest shade of blue. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, rocks in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again. We are water, rising up to the highest cloud, falling free in the rain come down, flowing over and underground. We are water, drops in the river and the wide ocean, running in all directions, then coming together again, coming together again, coming together again, coming together again.
Daniel.